Hey everyone, so this is just going to be an extension of the previous Unity tutorial that was uploaded here, um, which just showed you how to make a very simple game where you make a ball and move around. I'm just going to simply add the feature of jumping to this game and show you how to do that. So yeah, let's just get into it. So you're going to want to go into the move script. So for this, we're going to have to use um, the vector 3 and the rigid body of the ball, and I'm going to explain what that means. So let's just right here, you're going to just this video is mostly going to cover the uh, the coding portion, because like it takes quite a decent amount of code to get this to work, so we're just going to be covering how to make this happen. And you're going to need a jump force, kind of just like a variable to store in how powerful you want the jump to be. So we don't want the player to be able to double jump either in the air, because then they can just spam the jump button and fly to everywhere. So we just want them to jump once when they're on the ground and no more than that. So we're going to need a boolean for that, which is basically a variable that returns true or false, which helps us to identify whether the player is on the ground or not. And we're going to need the rigid body. So in start, you want to establish that the rigid body is the rigid body that we're getting from the game object that we have the script attached to, which would be the sphere. And you want to say that jump is kind of vector 3, where it just adds a force upwards. So let's just say it adds 2 up on the y-axis. Next, we're going to have an on collision stay. So I'm going to write this method and I'm going to explain what it does. So basically, it says right here, this method is detecting if the rigid body of the sphere, or the game object, whichever game object, in this case the sphere, is touching anything else. So we're going to say if it is, it runs every frame, kind of like update that we went over in the last tutorial. So we're basically saying if it is touching something, then set it to true. And since it checks every frame, it's going to be checking every frame, making sure that it's true. And what update, we're gonna basically, we're gonna kind of do something similar to what we've done here. We're gonna say if input dot get key down. Now instead of get key, we're gonna do get key down. We did get key for all of these because if you hold it, you should be able to move around. But if you hold jump button, we don't want them to just fly away forever. So yeah, we're gonna say if get key down. So this is just a press, not a hold. Is a space. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, if it's a space, then we're going to add a force on the rigid body of the sphere. We're going to add jump with the vector 3 that we initialized up in start. And we're going to times it by the jump force, which is kind of like the speed variable for these transformed oppositions up here. And you're just going to need force mode dot impulse. That's just for all the rigid body kind of alterations. And here we're going to set is grounded to false. And the reason we're doing that is because okay, let's run through this. And update runs every frame, right? So if the user presses space, we're saying they're not grounded anymore, right? Because that means they jumped and they're in the air now. And then the next time they touch something, on collision stay will detect that because it runs every frame, and it's going to set it to true. So what this allows for is basically that it isn't allowed to run. This code isn't allowed to happen if is grounded is false. Again, so the way we would do that is by saying and is grounded equals true. Or you could, this is the same thing as just saying is grounded. And if we would want it to be false, we would just put an exclamation mark here. But we want it to be true. So if the sphere is on the floor, then only this code works, and it sets it to false. So when it is set to false, if you press it again, it's going to say, oh, it's grounded as false, so we can't run this code. And the next time it will be able to run that code is when on collision state detects that it's the sphere is colliding with something, the floor, and it's going to say, okay, it's grounded equals true, so now you can jump again. So with all that done, you can just save that. This is on the move script, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that, the one that we already made for the ball. Let's just give it a second. Yeah, and you want to just click play up here again. So yeah, it should still be able to move, but when you press space, and you did a little jump. So yeah, that was an addition to the tutorial. And if you press space twice in the air, yeah, you can only do it twice. So yeah, if you just spam spacebar, it doesn't fly to the sky. So yeah, that was a basic tutorial on how to kind of make your Unity ball jump. Thank you.